How many times have you gotten that end of the day where you're like, okay, I sent the last email, I made the last phone call, and now you're like, crap, what the heck am I going to make for dinner? Well, I got the answer for you. Today I have a special guest, and I love these services. If you've never used one of these kind of services before, I totally recommend it. But I'm going to let Jamie, my guest today, tell you all about it. Jamie, share with us who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Thanks. I'm Jamie Morgan. I'm the owner of Fixin' to Eat right here in Peoria. And I am part of the original meal prep concept, kind of freezer meal concept. So nowadays when we say meal prep, there's a lot of things that come into mind. We have your bento box, kind of fitness geared, chicken and broccoli, kind of pre-cooked meals.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Woo! Yeah. Well,
you're clearly allergic to that type of meal prep.
I was trying to be quiet with that sneeze, and I made it way worse. We'll edit that portion.
So,
all right. Bento box, go from there.
Yeah. So kind of that's geared a little more toward the fitness. We're doing a really, really high protein and veggie with very low carb. They're pre-cooked. So there's a lot of services like that that are geared specifically toward kind of, I'm going to say gym rats, and I mean that in a really loving way, but just to kind of give you an idea of where that market is. Then you have the meal kit delivery services, Blue Apron, HelloFresh, that whole list of them, and it is a dying market. I've just been reading the publications on it, but that is basically a subscription service where you get meal kits delivered to you that you cook throughout the week. So if they send you a kit, it has a recipe card, and then it has the ingredients that you need for it. So if it calls for onion, here's your onion. If it calls for lemon zest, here's your lemon, and then your protein and things like that. So the feedback that I've gotten from those is that minimum 45 minutes of prep. And then all of the dishes that come along with that, right? We're zesting, we're chopping, we're doing all of these tasks before we even get to the pan. Or the oven. Fixin' to Eat, we do freezer meals. Basically, our goal is to stock your freezer full of ready-to-cook meals.
Yeah, so tell me, who's the kind of person that is going to look for this kind of a meal service?
It's been interesting. My youngest customer is 17. And he has been working out with a trainer. He comes in and picks up his meals and cooks them throughout the week because mom and dad are real busy. And so he didn't want to be left without some healthy options at home, and it's easy for him to follow the instructions. My oldest customer is 92, and she was a customer of mine when I owned my past business. Everybody wants to eat dinner, and everybody wants to do it with the best product or the best result and the least amount of work. So I would say busy families for sure, 2 working parents, or a mom that's heavily involved in other activities, including, PTSA and things like that, and working professionals, kids or not. That's been huge. And the aging population in my area, they're done. They're done. They're all out of new recipe ideas. They're all out of zest for coming up with creativity, creative ideas and things like that. And unfortunately, as we age, we get less energy. So you've got to measure where you want to spend that energy. Is it in enjoying coffee out with your friend, or is it standing there, chopping onions?
So. Yeah, I'm definitely, neither my husband or I, or neither one of us are foodies. And, so at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, well, if I haven't thought ahead of what we're going to eat, I'm not going to pull out a whole bunch of ingredients and, mix and match and everything. That's the last way that I want to be spending my time.
Right.
So I love these kind of services. Plus the benefit is, with most of the meals that I pick, I'm going to have something left over tomorrow for lunch. So I don't have to think about lunch tomorrow either. Right. Super bonus.
Right. And that's a lot of people ask, why do you package in either 3 serving or 6 serving? And it's kind of like if you've ever noticed when you go to a restaurant and they bring you some rolls. The philosophy in dining is that you always leave one for the table because you never know if somebody's going to want seconds or so it leaves you leftovers, or if you have, it might be you and your husband might be a big eater. And so he's gonna, maybe dip into that third portion where you're just having one. So it just gives some flexibility so nobody comes up at the end of it and goes, I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so smart. It's, it makes a lot of sense. And it's so convenient for us. We're always looking for ways to do things easier and smarter, but still be healthy and still, sure, we could call Uber Eats or, Grubhub or one of these other Dine and Dash, DoorDash, whatever they're called, but what kind of quality food are you getting? It's not healthy. It's not, it's not the kind of food that I want to be putting in my body every day.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to think about food, and there's another study out there that says the fewer decisions we have to make, the more we're able to make the important decisions. So if you're not having to think about dinner at the end of the day when your willpower is completely exhausted, then you're going to make a healthier choice about the food that you eat. And that, of course, is just a win-win across the board.
Absolutely. In fact, in my old business, following a specific diet plan, I had lost 90 pounds because I would sit down once a month, just like I was a customer, when I was not hungry. And I would place my order for that month as to what we were having, what would be available in the house for dinner. And if you're smart and you do it that way, if you're trying to really lose some weight or things like that, it's helpful to be able to plan that far in advance. There's not a lot of places where you can say, I got dinner planned for the month. And so if you can be in a good place and make those choices then, it's what's there. And I can't tell you how many times knowing something was defrosted, sitting in the fridge waiting for me, that kept me right on out of that drive-through.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Totally. All right, Jamie. Well, here's the trick question for you. What do you delegate?
Two things actually. And I am very frugal, so I have a hard time delegating a lot of things, particularly in my personal life, because I feel like it's something I should be doing or something I can do. So why would I pay for it? I'm going to tell you, this year I have not cleaned up my dog's poop in the backyard once. I went ahead and opted for that service because sometimes when you're super busy and you're in a relationship, it's your responsibility to maybe figure out what things could go a little smoother, right? Nobody wants to argue about who's doing that. And so that was an easy give. It was like, you know what? I don't ever want to worry about it. I want people to be able to come over and we go in the backyard and it's not like, he didn't or I didn't or so that was one thing personally that has been a lifesaver. And then as far as the business, and I'm going to get better about this in 2020, but so far the only thing I've delegated is my bookkeeping. That is not my skill set. It's not my interest list. It's not anything I should be touching or doing, because any energy I give to that, I'm stealing from the things that are my wheelhouse, menu development and things like that. So that was an easy one and a blessed one to get rid of.
Yeah, well, I have to say that the pooper scooper, that might be the first time on this show that we've heard that one, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. And
it is wonderful.
I think that sometimes we underestimate the value of delegating out some of those services that could create tension in relationships. And so I think it's brilliant. I love it. And of course, bookkeeping, none of us should be dealing with spreadsheets when it's just like, not the thing we like to do. So kudos to you for delegating those things. And, of course, if you need help delegating some of the other stuff, well, I've got the person you can call, virtual A-Team, of course. Jamie, how can those of us that are local in the Phoenix area reach out and connect to you to find out more about Fixing to Eat and utilizing some of your services?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Just the website's the best way, and you can look at the current menu, which changes monthly. It's www.fixintoeat.com. And on there, you can subscribe to our newsletter if you want more information. But definitely.
And that's Fixin' without a G, correct?
That's right.
I'm not
from the South, but I like to pretend I
am. Well, you know, the South and food, they sort of go together, and just the whole concept of fixing and eating, it works. It's the perfect name. I love it. I love it for sure. Well, thanks so much, Jamie, for being on the show. And for those of you that are still tuned in, we've got another great episode coming up here, and make sure that you tune into that. We will check you out later.